common wild violet, another spring favorite. The flowers are commonly gathered to be used to make jellies and syrup even, and the color that it creates is absolutely astronomical. Many cases I've come up with fuchsia colored jelly. It's just so beautiful. However, not just the flowers are edible, but the leaves as well. Leaves can be used in almost anything. Pestos, salads, sandwiches, you name it. And there's no shortage of it. Once it takes root, it grows everywhere. The trout lily, or the dog-tooth violet. This is a plant that grows in massive colonies. Everything you see here, or about 99%, are trout lilies. These colonies can literally cover the entire forest floor, like they are here. The colonies can be hundreds of years old, but it takes a long time to get to this stage. Its bulbs are sterile up to about the 7th year. The plant produces only one leaf. As you can see here, these are all single leaves. Until they reach full maturation. And when they do reach full maturation, there's not many here, so I'm going to go back to this one, which you can see, the one plant right there has 2 leaves. And you'll notice that some of the leaves have more of a mottled appearance. More of these might have had more of a mottled appearance, but we're getting later in the season, so they could be dying back. These colonies spread mostly by runners and less by seed. This is a plant that's edible and it has medicinal qualities. The leaves have a very mild flavor, and it's a great source of rehydration if you're ever thirsty and you forgot your water. Nice little white trillium. Now the flowers have a bit of a sweetness to them due to the nectar, but they're also slightly acrid. And this means if you eat too much of something that is acrid, it could cause you to throw up. This plant is considered an emetic, so never eat a lot of these at one time. Ramps, or wild leeks. No matter which word you decide to call them by, one thing is for sure, they're tasty, and they are a very hot commodity in the springtime. This is a patch that I enjoy coming to year after year, and this is a very safe patch. I know no one else has come here. I monitor this very closely. I'm in an area in which there are no homes nearby, no businesses, nothing. It takes a fair bit of time to hike in here, but it's worth it, and I know it's protected. Right here, I've already dug up one bulb, which actually is 2. Right there, you see they kind of grow together. When harvesting ramps, it's really important to remember that this is a plant that from the time the seed germinates to the time the plant produces seeds is 7 years. So you can only imagine if I took this and harvested every one of these, or a lot of them, there'd be nothing for the next year. It's really, really important to understand that sustainable harvesting is critical depending on the area that you live in. I know in West Virginia, for example, they have festivals over the ramps, and that's wonderful. But in places throughout Quebec and parts of Ontario, Southern Ontario especially, we have a lot of chefs that are in the cities, and they send people out to forests, and they don't care how they harvest it because they're being paid by bringing these back, not by how well they harvest them. And what by that I mean sustainably. Anyway, this is it's highly desirable. You don't need a lot of these bulbs. All you need, take a few, of course, it makes for a wonderful treat. Now, here, for example, check this out. This is a mature, it's coming to maturation. This is probably year 6. And there are 3 leaves. Let me see, it's not going to behave because it's a very windy day. Anyway, there are 3 leaves. There's no way I want to take all these leaves. I will leave 2. I will take 1. And that's what I'm going to do here today. I'll probably come home with maybe a dozen bulbs, but that's it, just for a treat. But I will be going home with a lot of leaves. One of the most favorite things I enjoy doing with the leaves are drying them out and then grinding it down to a powder and using it in a spice blend. It tastes incredible, and it's the best way to store these long term. So there you are. One of the most sought after springtime favorite edibles. Fiddleheads, or ostrich fern. These are out for only a few days, really, often at the back end of April or early May. When harvesting fiddleheads, you can see right here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Always leave at least half on each crown. Now, just to show you this area a bit. This is your clue where to find them, because these are last year's fronds from which they drop spores. And let's go straight down. There's this year's. Fiddleheads love being in an area where there is somewhat of an open canopy and where there are primarily deciduous trees. Although in this area there are some conifers, but it is primarily, as you can see over there, deciduous. And you can see all the fronds. So it's actually a great way to guide you to find some when you want to harvest. And they're not always really big and luscious. Sometimes they're a little smaller, like these guys. And when you do harvest them, you want to make sure you get the tight curls, the tight rounded areas there. once they get to this stage, they're quite loose and not as desirable. Although you could take them and make them into soup. So there you go. Fiddleheads. Virginia Waterleaf. This is not a very well-known edible, yet when it's at this stage of growth, it's quite tasty. It has a bit of a fuzzy texture to it, nothing too serious. Once you put it into a bowl with other greens, it tastes really great as a salad. It can be used in pretty much anything else. Soup, stew, smoothies, you name it. The Virginia waterleaf was primarily found on the eastern part of Canada and the United States, but it does have western cousins, the California waterleaf and the Pacific waterleaf. This is a plant that is typically always found in moist soils, in wooded areas, which this is, and where there is a source of water nearby, a creek, a river, a stream. As you'll notice, some of the leaves are just green. Some of them have slight water markings, and some of them have a more pronounced water marking. Typically, as the plant matures, the leaves become dark green. These are very young and they have yet to flower.